Shri Krishna. Chapter 15, Purushottam Yog. We left last time and covered until about 14. So the 14th. So this is the smallest chapter. Also, good news. It's about to end. It's not going to drag on and on. This and the 12th chapter, both are the shortest, the smallest chapters. Bhakti Yog. Contrary to what you might think, Bhakti Yog jaldi nikla gaya bhagwan. Smallest chapter, the path of devotion. What do you know? And in this 15th chapter, Purushottam Yog, Atma Yog, Sankhya Yog, all about Jnana, lamba, 72, 75, Moksha, long chapters. These are small chapters. Bhakti is not, there's not a lot you have to do for devotion. And there's not a lot you have to do to experience the Lord. So we covered 14. Sanjeev, can you hear me? Is the volume okay? And others?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. So, and then so 15th verse is the one that I sang during today's dhyan. Sarvasya cha aham hridisannivishto matta smritir jnana apohanam cha. So before the session reflection, when we were joking that forgetfulness, memory loss, he said, I am that too. And as being merciful, as a special arrangement, I make sure that that things, that experiences that should be forgotten in time are forgotten. Otherwise, life will be miserable. If you remember every single detail of my past life, and in the past life, I'd be full of revenge or depression. I would go berserk. I would not know what to do with myself. Abhi, isi janam ka, when we realize, oh, I should not have said that, I should not have done that, I cannot forgive myself, right? The hardest, the toughest person to forgive is ourselves. And we may forgive others, we may forget other things, but it's really hard to forget and this screw up that we made and forgive ourselves also. So in a way, it's a good arrangement. So that's the word that comes, apohana. It's a rare word and it's unique, and it's the only time that it comes in the Gita. So Sarvasya, like usual, we will decode. Again, by the way, for context, this is Purushottam Yog, chapter 15. Purushottam Yog. Ud is high, Udtam is the highest. Uttam. Yog is connecting or reconnecting or meeting or uniting with the highest. The whoever, however, whatever is the highest, whether man, woman, whether person or imperson, not person, whatever it is, something, whatever is the greatest. I want to reconnect with it. Everyone does. Admit it or not, understand it or not, know it or not, like it or not. That's just the most prevalent tendency. The smallest match that we light will also point upward, right? The candle, even if you force it to face down, it'll still, the flame will still go up. No matter how high you hold the water, as soon as you leave, it'll want to go down. And so it is like, as soon as you open the window, the door, the wind will start blowing. Those are their default settings. Heat wants to go to its source. The biggest source known to us right now, available, accessible, is the sun. So even if you go to Australia, down and under, the flame will want to go up towards the sun. Here, it will still go up because it's approaching, it wants to go to the source. And the water wants to go to the ocean. Sea level, the lowest level, because it wants to flow down, this wants to go up. And so it is that as humans, really as any creature for that matter, if there is consciousness, there is awareness, wants to realize its full potential, wants to do nothing and have everything. So it's okay to be lazy. that's embedded in the nature, right? How would you not? Why would you not? No matter what. And whoever tells you not to be lazy are also lazy. And that's okay too. That's quite all right. And there is no way around it. Our nature is not to be lazy per se, but our nature is to have it all and do none of it. Have to do nothing and have it all. It's a doing is effort, effortless, as less as, right? And that's efficiency. The machines and whatever the mechanics, whatever new gadgets and technology we create is for the efficiency of it. By definition, engineering efficiency is how much output can I extract out of the input that I'm putting in. How can I get the most by giving in the least? And so that's human nature. And so the ideal would be I would have to give nothing and I would have everything, right? Zero input and infinite, perpetually giving output. That's our original nature. And so all our lifetime, we're in the pursuit of that. Ultimately, pursuit of what? Have the most of what? Have the most of wealth or name, fame, have the most, whatever name ultimately gives me, whatever fame ultimately gives me, whatever wealth ultimately gives me is this perpetual joy, happiness, ananda, we call it bliss. I feel good, right? To make it simple, we feel good. When someone becomes famous, they feel good. When someone gets to eat what they like, they feel good. When someone praises you, say, oh, you're so pretty. You feel good. Why wouldn't you? I like what you had to say. You feel good. Just the goodness. It's central to our being. It's the essence of goodness, right? Ananda. As the highest, Satchidananda is our nature, is our definition. Sat, Chit, Ananda. I don't want just joy. I want joy that will be perpetual, that will never disappear, that will never vanish, that will never reduce, that will always preserve, that will never rot. That I will never have to deposit in the bank or worry about the stock market going up and down or which political party or social justice and just I'll have to worry nothing about that. No matter what, the joy will be permanently preserved. That's the Sat aspect. That is what Sat means. Immovable, immutable, indomitable, undefeatable, indestructible. Right? Sat. That kind of Ananda. But I also want to always experience it. It's not good enough for me to just know that, oh yeah, I have all my silver and gold ornaments and utensils in a box in the bank. I want to be able to use it, experience it, show up, like make sure that I'm constantly experiencing. So I want to know, not just have. I also want to know. Ultimately, experience. I want to know what I'm experiencing, and that's the Chit aspect of it. Jnana, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Right? That's who we are. We're made of that. We are that, in fact. And therefore, no matter where I go, which degree I pursue, which college I go to, which country I am in, man, woman, whatever, I'm trying to play to my strengths. I think I have finite resources. I only have this much brain. I only have this much money. I have a shot at this school, or I can only afford this, or I can go there. How can I maximize what I've got? I can use everything that I get, play to my strength, and maximize what I can get. What is it? The joy, ultimately joy, Satchidananda. By going outward, by trying, and there is a ton of effort in it. There's constant effort in it. The moment I stop working hard, it also stops, right? The moment I stop praising and giving thumbs up and responding to WhatsApp, then people, I'm sort of outcast. I'm no longer in the loop. There's an effort to keep relationships. There's an effort to feed people, to praise people, to connect with people, to dress up and go here and drive, spend money, earn money, all that. That's not it then. That could not be it because there's effort. If I am sugar, I should have to expend no effort to be sweet. Then alone can I be, right? If I'm the sun, if I'm light, I shouldn't have to do anything to see. If I'm light, whatever is seen, whoever sees whatever is because I exist, is the idea. And so, yeah, it is because you exist, each of us, all of it, that any joy that we experience. If I wasn't here, how would I experience joy? The joy, the measures would still be there. Right? Go for it. Okay. That's what happens when you pay attention to it. Right? So hold on to that. When stress is approaching or when like whatever is bothering, pay attention to it. It'll go away. The answer is in the question, as I used to say to Kana, that stare at the question. Don't worry about I don't understand how to solve this math. Look into it. I really assure you, look in it because it's inside and it'll start to clue you in. Look into it. If something is bothering you, something is not feeling right, something is like feeling this is wrong, something is not, pay attention, look at it, look into it. It will start to decode by itself. And so it is with the Gita also. I often say, The most misconceptions about the Gita is it's so complicated, I can't understand, can't configure. Have you sat with it? Have you slowed down? Have you spent some time with it? Have you made it your own? Right? It is for each of us to make our own. It will start to decode itself. And so with that, so Purushottam Yog, I was just explaining the context of this chapter. That's what we're approaching. We want to get to that state of mind. The best, the highest, the greatest, the most splendid, the most joyous, the steady, all of that. And that's within, as I said during the then, that already exists. Again, using the simple example of the sugar, no matter how far she goes, what she does, which mountain she climbs and which ocean she goes into, it, I'm not sure that she'll find the sweetness as much as it's already within. So all for nothing. And if I would experience my nature, sugar would say, then I make everything sweet. It is when I am mixed. And so it is that any joy that we think that we experience, it's not the tongue, it's when I give it the sensation, it's when I give it the acknowledgement, the recognition that it feels right and good, all of that. And so this whole effort is to realize that. It's not to achieve it. There's nothing to achieve. It's already there. It's just to realize it, right? Make it real. Actualize it, realize it. It's already there. Right? Make it real. For meaning, practice it. The only way to make it real is practice it. Live as if it is real, and it will start to become real. It will start to show up. Live stress-free. Live as if you have no worries, even in the face of the worry. And you might start to see the magic of it also. That, oh yeah, that's right. Well, what was I worrying so much about? I still have food in the refrigerator. I still have clothes that I'm wearing. There's still a roof above me. There's still clean air to breathe. There's enough water to drink, and I'm healthy. What I thought I need for this body, if I thought I was the body, this 6 and only 6 conditions that I need for me to exist, they're still there. So why am I worrying? Now, and to go beyond that, no matter what, right? It is that we want more acknowledgement, more recognition, more outside. And so reconnecting with the real is the name of this chapter, Purushottam Yog, and the embodiment of that concept, that idea, everything that I just described. If we were to take a body, were to embody it would come Krishna, that who's speaking that this is who I am, and you're that too. You're the sun informing the ray of the sun. You're in me. You've emanated from me. Everything that's in me is also in you, in different proportion, but the qualitatively identical. That it's every photon in you has the exact same composition as the photons in the sun. You can light whatever you fall on, like I light the entire cosmos also. You never become that thing that you fall on, the ball of dirt, or the dog poop, or the piece of gold. You never become that, you just light it. So if you can learn to discern yourself being separate from the object that you're perceiving, if you can remain the witness, the observer, drashta or drishya, right? All the experiences are drishya outside, but there is a seer. The drishya changes, the sights always change, the seer does not. And if we can identify with the seer, the real us, then it's a very different life experience, which it's then realized, and that's yoga. So that's the chapter there that we have been in for the past few sessions, for the English sessions anyways. And we'd stopped at 14 and we just started on 15, I think, at Sanjeev Bhai's place, which is where we are. I'll read in Hindi and then we'll continue to talk in English also. This is the 15th shlok. मैं ही सब प्राणियों के हृदय में अंतर्यामी रूप से स्थित हूँ, तथा मुझसे ही स्मृति, ज्ञान और अपोहन होता है, पर सब वेदों द्वारा मैं ही जानने के योग्य हूँ, तथा वेदांत का कर्ता और वेदों को जानने वाला भी मैं ही हूँ. सर्व अस्य, सर्वस्य, right? All of it, like leaving nothing behind. He has not said, this is the only God, this is the only faith system, Sanatan, and where the most inclusive, the original inclusivity, the original equity stems from this. Never said the bad ones are not me. There is this Satan, and they follow the shadow, and they're all the good ones are on my side. It's like announces loudly that even the bad ones, I'm equally present. And actually, the bad ones are not bad ones. Their behaviors, their beliefs, their like whatever is drawing them is. It's like all around 360 degrees. He claims it to be I alone in them all, and that everyone should be given a chance. Everybody has a shot at realizing the truth. Right? And so there he again is a sarva as. I am in everyone. Sarva se cha, and cha is and into aham. So I am in everyone. Where? Hriday, in the cavity of the heart. Angushtamatra Purusham Chinmayam Hriday Sarvada. Shivaji says to Parvati in Skanda Purana and the Shiv Gita that there is a minute, seen, unseen, maybe there is a cavity in the heart, and the electric charge that keeps pumping until that Jew is alive. That's because of my presence. As long as I'm present in that being embodied in it, there is I'm using the word electricity, but there's a charge that, and sure enough, the pump, there's some energy source, right? The pump never stops. When it stops, right, it's game over. So he said that's Chinmayam Hriday Sarvada. At all that, sleeping, waking, dreaming, walking, running, all of that. Sarva Sitya. So the same Lord in that form claims it there, because there is only one Lord, right? If the greatest can only be one, can take different forms at different times. I'm wearing this now, I wear something totally different when I work. Now I might tie a ponytail at the back. I might look different. I might use a different language. I might talk about a completely different topic, which has nothing to do with it. I might focus on a very different body of work. I might produce different body of knowledge. All that. So I might as well be a different man. But I am the same person, depending on the circumstance and the situation and the audience and the purpose. I might behave differently, show up differently, use different toolkits, different resources that I have. And so I might be like a Shiv at one time. I'm chastising Kana. So if you're grounding him, I might show up as Shiv. I might be, if in my creative mood, if I'm actually building a business plan or doing something for hungry kids, I might be like a Brahmadev. I'm speaking for myself, but so it is your own story also. I'm actually creating, I'm engaging, I'm engineering, I'm designing. And the same guy is now behaving and acting and thinking and doing like Brahma. And I was just, last night, I was being like a Rudra avatar, Shivji, right? Just yelling, screaming, smacking, throwing, crushing, smashing, all that. And I have done all of those, actually. But if I'm working, if I'm investing, if I'm watching, monitoring, now I'm thinking of sustenance. Now I'm making sure that the relationships are kept. I'm making sure that there's insurance. That the same man is behaving like Vishnu. And so it doesn't make sense to fight over it. No, he's Vishnu. No, Shiva, or no Brahma. Oh no, he's the greatest. And we're going to chant his mantra, his form, his three-eyed form or four-armed forms or four heads that Brahma has. Brahma, the story goes that north, east, west, south, literally, it said when he was born, not knowing who he is, where he's come from, like, what is all this? Who am I? First question he asked, like literally, the question still goes on. Who am I? The confusion is still around. He literally looked at north, east, west, south. Literally in the scripture. What does that mean? NEWS. News. What's the freshness? What's going on? Right? What's happening? So at times and so that same Lord in the form he said, Sarva Chinmayam Hridis Angushtamatra Purusham Chinmayam Hridis Sarvada. That I stand. He said here also, he said, I'm standing. The point of standing means I'm awake, I'm wakeful, I'm vigilant, I'm alert, I'm diligent, I'm paying attention, I'm attentive. You may be sleeping, I am still wakeful, doing my job, therefore your heart is pumping. And so there he says, Sarva Sitcha Aham Hriday is in the cavity of the heart, Sannivishto, enwrapped, I'm effused through. I'm completely infused in that being. Sarva Sitcha Aham Hriday Sannivishto. Madta smritir jnana apohanam cha. From me alone come, because of me. What? Smriti is memory, remembrance. Just remembering something is meaningless if I don't comprehend it. Gyan is comprehension. This isn't just about remembering, it's also about comprehension. So India mein jab hum log chalte the, we used to write to 1 ja 2 to the 4 to 6 to 4 to 5 to 10. I don't understand anything. What is this? But just repeating, and then 3 and then 4 and 5 and like, right? It's just a rut laga ke. And when the formula was given to me, well, this is how you figure out. Then I did not have to memorize quadratic formula, right? High school mathematics. Like whatever, a square plus 2as plus b squared, and solve that problem. Once I had the formula, y or x, y, z, y equals whatever square root of x squared plus 2x plus bc divided by 2a. And then no matter what value is in, I can solve it. I don't have to remember it because I have comprehension. And that's gyan. Once you know it, you don't have to remember it. You only have to remember it until you know it. But you also have to remember it. It's until you know it, you have to remember it. Once you know it, you don't have to remember it. If you always only remember and you kept on knowing, and at some point, but you always thought of yourself as the body, identified with the body, and never forgot anything, according to the scripture, life would be more miserable. If you remember everything that ever happened, life would be immeasurably miserable. We would not know what to do, where to go, and with ourselves, all that. And so has to be right-sized. And that's Rudra Avatar also. It's not a destroyer. Shivaji is not he's the controller. He right-sizes in that form. He right-sizes it to be. He doesn't let my nose keep growing, for example. That's just it. So grooming. It's a groomer. Also. And so smriti jnana apohanam cha. Because if I continue to grow my body of knowledge about the universe, and if I was unable to manage it or wield it properly, then I would never get to the point that I really need to experience my own identity. If I always only kept on piling knowledge from the outside, I'd never have the time and the capacity, more importantly, to really understand what I must understand ultimately. Even if I understand everything in the outside world, but if I don't, so long as I don't understand myself, my own nature, that entire understanding is in the end meaningless, only worthless only, because I never understood that I'm Satchidananda, that I'm indestructible, that I am knowledge. Forget knowing everything. I am knowledge. Anything can be known so long as I am present. I have to be present for it, whatever it is, to be known, right? I am that capacity. And that there can be no joy without me. The experience of joy cannot be without my first being there. So long as I don't understand that, everything else will become unsustainable. We go berserk in it. Fuse urja, and that happens. And so hence to regulate, to moderate, to control, forgetfulness is not a bad idea. Again, the idea is grooming, the idea is controlling, shaping. गणपति बनाते मिट्टीला रख दे गणपति बाप्पा नहीं, shape it properly, and you act literally sculpt it. From when you make a sculpture, you're wasting so much rock. From such a huge rock, you're making a small elephant. There's so much waste, so much was cut away, but because what you're trying to create out of it. And so like that, there is so much knowledge I've accumulated, and I have such a waste because I forgot everything. It isn't just knowledge for the sake of knowledge that we need it. It's for the sake of understanding and really realizing ultimately what the point is. And so this forgetfulness is not some anyaya, some injustice. Sure, then what chance do I have? It is actually an aid. It is aiding us. If I cannot shape it, then he has a plan, he has guardrails. Stay within these lines, keep walking. Ultimately, you'll reach it. So, isliye nika sarva sachaham hridaya sannivishto matta smriti jnana apohanam cha. But we joke about it. Then, okay, well, if men can go to a grocery store and never remember more than 3 things. No, I don't care who it is. Dushan Sanjeev by me. 4th thing you pile on, I forgot. Guaranteed. Shanbhai, tell me if I'm lying.
3 is maximum.
Yeah, maximum. Absolutely. Because no, our energy is not to be wasted in buying, collecting, purchasing. Okay, jitna zaruri hai, wo baithi bata de. Text, WhatsApp, Facebook, everything. Seven different ways I told you. How to you still forget? No? So if that arrangement, I think we should celebrate, brother. That's Bhagwan ki arrangement. Unko samjhe na samjhe. So, but we should also use it though. Now, we should use it as a tool, the forgetfulness. We should utilize it. We should purposefully use it. Things that are not helping us shape up, that are not helping us go within, that are distracting us, that are actually, by remembering this, I am being pulled outward. By remembering this, I am actually becoming more revengeful or more frustrated. Or by remembering this, I'm becoming more anxious about it, miserable about it. Maybe I want to use this tool that God, it's a tool. Forgetfulness is a tool, therefore it's glorified. Forgive and forget. Right? Forgiveness is next to godliness, maybe next to cleanliness.
So would you say it would be like giving yourself that second chance or giving other people that second chance, using that tool, like the forgetful, I mean, giving, like,
how do you use it?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think everybody can respond to that. I typically use the framing of love, purity of love, to process most of the questions that come my way, even my own thought. Ultimately, we want to accept that whatever it is, whoever, however it is, that ultimately want to assume noble intent, right? I'll use your paradigm. Assume I didn't forget on purpose that what was the 4th thing. Don't get so upset at me. I went there to bring whatever you want. Get off my back. But so this is not on purpose that I'm doing. Or whoever screwed something up, or whoever is even like being revengeful, you have to assume that there is, noble or not, there's definitely a reason for it. They feel their truth is different. They have their version of the truth. Everybody's version of the truth is limited until you have realized self, right? Until you realize God, until you have experienced your own nature. Everybody's truth is limited, constricted, cannot be the full version. Trump's truth is limited. It was fake election. That doesn't mean that makes it right, but the guy just believed that, actually, right? And just using it. And that doesn't mean that, forget it. But at least have some space for it so that we don't go berserk, we don't become completely opposite position. Then it's a stalemate, it's a logjam. There's no solution out of it. If you're interested in creating a solution, you do have to create space for each other. And so my interpretation of that is using that tool as creating space, holding space for others, assuming noble intent. These are all these psychological safety paradigms that I'm using to give credit where credit is due. But my own framing is that the purity of love, that I am so secure, using it to, meaning we should be, that being so secure and grounded and confident in our original nature as Satchidananda, feeling fearless about it. Next chapter starts with it, 16th chapter. Abhayam sattva sanchati. Sattva is purity. Abhay is fearlessness. I'm so confident, so securely lodged. There is no insecurity, there is no anxiety, there is no misery that I can put up with your shenanigans. I can tolerate your drama. I will still be there. And when you have calmed down, we will reason it out. When there's some open space in your head, we will rationalize it, we'll process it together. And I'll help you see my point of view. I'm already understanding that you're coming from a certain point of view that I don't see. And that's how I would, one way that how I would use it. It's a great question. And in fact, that's how you should be thinking. How can I use this? So what? God saying, I made memory, I made comprehension. It's just forgetfulness also came from me. So what? Right? What's the big deal about it? What do I do with it? You must ask that. How do I use it? So I applaud the question. anyone has any other interpretation, any other ideas, feel free to share now, later, however.
I feel it is better that it's inbuilt in a way that you forget certain things at time. And I think if I reflect back on that certain things I've forgotten, I think it's good for me that I've taken out that garbage out of me, and I don't worry about it. I don't stress over that. And many a time it comes back like, how can I forget that? But I think it was better that I forgot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way we forget is fades, really. Right? It's not snap. And no, I forgot.
Yeah.
What was it again? And that's a scenario. We're approaching there, but that's a different state of mind physiologically. Oh, wait, what? like homelessness. What? But it's really the real forgetfulness is eventual fading. When your mother passed away, when your father passed away, that day, how agonizing it was. You don't want every single day to be agonizing that way, because you also have the rest of the world and to look at, and yourself and everything else. So you haven't forgotten that your mother died or father died, but it has faded, right? And that's part of it. Also, the sun doesn't digitally just go up in the sky and then does its job for 12 hours and then just sinks in. It's a gradual. Gradual is beautiful. In the digital, no matter how digital you are, in reality, it's all still analogous, because there's still micro within whatever micro we think, there's still another micro. It's a different topic. It's a more technical topic. We can talk separately about it. And so, yeah, but my point is, it fades. Forgetting is like gradually fading, and it's a good thing. It's a right thing. We want to use it and applaud it, appreciate it, hold space for it, celebrate it. Really. Any thought, any reaction, Madhuri, from you or anyone else?
Just one thing, I guess, is what comes to my mind is that famous saying is that to err is human, but to forgive is divine. But without forgetfulness, it's you cannot really forgive. So I guess that's also the connection I see.
Yeah,
right, with the divine.
Yeah, there's this seed of divinity given through forgetfulness. So what a fabulous interpretation of it. That, yeah, no, I like it. Thanks for sharing, Sanjeev. Like the river is so beautiful and ultimately reaches the ocean because it's never the same, right? As it said, the river, you can not see the same river twice, ever. That alone reaches, otherwise it remains a pond and stagnates and stationary. And so for us to move forward, we must leave behind. It's just simple logic, right? And so it's that arrangement. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedant veda videvacha. Veda is knowledge, simply, just that, the body of knowledge. Veda, we call the scriptures Veda because all it is the body of knowledge. Whatever body of knowledge, any certification that you're pursuing, project management, physiotherapy, any body of knowledge. But the consolidated, aggregate body of knowledge is what we know as Vedas, that we call it, right? So Veda is just sarva, the entire body of knowledge, the known and the unknown. We don't know what we don't know, as they say. We think, oh, we know everything. Well, how do I know that I know everything? There's so much that I don't know. So it's not possible for even the collective to know everything, because even the collective is so limited here. He's saying, Vedesha sarva aham. I am also in that form. I alone know everything because I alone am everywhere. You have to be there to know it, to fully, right? Present there. Aham eva vedyo. And the knower is also, he said, I am knowledge, and I'm also the knower of it all. Vedant, and I'm also the creator of knowledge. If he's God, if he's the ultimate, the final, he or she or it, right? Or whatever it is, whoever it is, however it is, personal, impersonal, no fight there. Whatever that form is, shape is, or shapeless, formless is, I believe that it would be a person. Because again, as I always say, if one insists that there can only be a formful personal God, then it's half God. If God is God, why couldn't he be formless at times, whenever it wants? Why couldn't she become impersonal? Why couldn't he become she? Now, why would he be stuck in the form of a dude, right? Why not necessarily? And so I think God is everything. God can be anything, is anything we want God to be also. And we are also God in this form as well. And so he's saying that, and I'm also the creator of knowledge. Vedanta, Veda, Vidya. And then ultimately he says, and I alone am to be known. Whoever is trying to know whatever, Einstein's most famous last word, all my life, these were incidents that happen, E equals mc squared, relativity, all that. I was just trying to understand how God thinks, right? To read letters that he'd written. I've been trying to think that inbuilt in it the assumption that God exists. However we define God, and I'm trying to understand how he thinks. This is so wonderful. And in thinking, I have decoded some of the formula that I got the Nobel Prize and all this for. So here Krishna says that I alone am to be known. Whoever is trying to know whatever they don't know, but it is ultimately me that they're trying to know in that form. I also am the only one worthy of knowing. Meaning whatever else we know at some point becomes useless. It's not always useful. But once we understand God, in it, and built in it is our own understanding of ourselves. We also know ourselves, because then that's when we know we're not separate. That then the wave fully understands the ocean. In it, the wave has understood the wave. That I'm not just this form that I thought that I break and form and break and then become sad. I am the water that's in every single wave. The entire ocean is made of me, right? So, and that's a release. That's the biggest relief. And in the next slok, 16, Dvavimau Purusho Loke Ksharascha Kshara Evacha Kshara Sarvani Bhutani Kutastho Kshara Uchate. इस संसार में नाशवान और अविनाशी भी ये दो प्रकार के पुरुष है। इनमें संपूर्ण भूत प्राणियों के शरीर तो नाशवान और जीवात्मा अविनाशी कहा जाता है. So this is commonly known and discussed in spirituality. Yeah, there's two kinds. The one that perishes and there is the imperishable. There's the body and there's the soul. The big deal. I've heard it 1,000 times. Right? In every other Bal Sanskar, I've heard about it. That I'm Atma, the soul, not a part, but a whole. Oh, man. So what? What about it? Dvavimo Purusho Loke, saying two kinds there are. Loke is whatever exists in the universe, in the cosmos, not just on this planet, not just in this country, wherever. There's two kinds of living beings, two broad categories of living beings. One is the perishable, the other is imperishable. Avinashi, Vinashi. Kshar, the one that degrades. Kshar is degrading. Akshar, call it word. Be careful to see the word always there. Literal meaning of Sanskrit is non-degrading, imperishable. The spoken word will achieve its objective. Be careful. Watch over your tongue. Once it leaves the mouth, it's going to find its way and hit the mark. And so it's best, the only chance to be careful before opening it, because its name itself is Akshar. Now, it will not degrade. It's called Akshar Brahma. It will keep resonating. But anyway, the point here is not the word, but like two kinds of being. Kshara Akshara Evacha. Kutastha. One is permanent. Kutastha is permanent. The other is impermanent. Kshara Sarvani Bhutani. Kutastho Akshara Uchate. Bhut is anything that has taken a form. So all around us, whatever it has taken, a tree or me or you or all of us. So in any form, there is something perishable and something imperishable. Any form is a combination, like the sofa set that we're sitting on, or this wood that I'm sitting on appears to be dead, but there is a perishable element in it and an imperishable element in it, right? You've heard of the law of conservation of energy, mass. In it, there is matter, and there is also energy. It only converts from one form into another. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. That's Akshara, right? That's in it. But the word of form is perishable. It will become ash. and then it will become fly ash or smoke or get lost, all of that. It will settle down again with the dewdrops and become rain, ultimately become soil. This wood that I'm sitting on will become soil, will become fertile, will actually be soaked up by a sea. It will become a tree, a plant, a fruit that someone will eat and nourish the body, and then die again, be burned and all that. It will continue, but it's constantly perishing. But the principle in it, the fundamental in it, is ever imperishable. So such brilliant fundamental laws are so easily spoken, so effortlessly given out, that in anything that exists, there is a perishable and an imperishable. And we are told that we are the imperishable ones, and we're miserable all life long because constantly we think we are the perishable one. I don't want to die. I don't want mine to reduce. I want mine to grow. This, that. So you are that already. I don't understand how. What do you mean by that? I am that. You are that. Tat tvam asi. It's the Mahavakya 9 times in the Upanishad, right? We've heard about that. And so the whole process, the whole sadhana, the entire yoga is to experience oneness with it. It isn't just to do dhol for the sake of dhol and do 24-hour bhajan kirtan or jumping up and down, or doing har pe har, dan, tirat yatra, vrat, like kill yourself, like really fascinating. It is so ultimately getting to a stage in which I can really escape the mental shackles and once and for all see the light at the end of the tunnel, come out of the tunnel, be free. So if we have that vision, why am I doing anything that I'm doing? That kind of clarity brings alignment. That alignment makes everything very efficient, not wasteful. Otherwise, we're just wasting all resources away. When resources are wasted away, we also have to work hard to accumulate those. I don't have any more. Now I have to go gather more. Well, as soon as we have it, we just waste it away. And so for us to be efficient like that, we also need the alignment, which the word that Krishna uses is sharan, align with me. These fundamentals, these truths that I've described in here, the closer you align, the quicker you align, the tighter you align with these, you will very efficiently make progress and understand and experience all of those. So again, what is the big deal about this? That there is perishable, imperishable. Here's the big deal in the next shlok, he said, and yet there is the third one. This is very, very rarely heard, very rarely spoken. I mean, so much that like this might as well be the only place where it is so clearly said that there is third one. All this time we heard about only two. Or all this time everyone thought about one or two. Dvait or Advait, Dvait or Advait. This whole, when it's, well, there is another one. Like he's saying. Just so, and well, now who knows how many battles will ensue out of that? Whoa, wait, what? Just said there is the Republican Party, there is the Democrat, and now there's the Trump. Oh, what's going to happen? Like, which one comes, right? Trump's not sure if he's Republican, for example, right? This is going to mess things up, right? I say, but this isn't like that. You'll see in a moment. It is the third that brings everything, both of them together. Right? And so, Uttama Purushastu Anyaha is the 17th shlok. Paramatmeti udarataha yo lokatrayamavishya vibharti avyaya ishvara. इन दोनों से उत्तम पुरुष तो अन्य ही है. Higher still, superior still, more glorious, elegant, more complete, more inclusive still is something else, someone else. जो तीनों लोकों में प्रवेश करके सबका धारण पोषण करता है तथा अविनाशी परमेश्वर और परमात्मा इस प्रकार कहा गया है. So the battles between one or two, Dvaita or Advaita, are because people are thinking exclusively, mutually exclusive, right? These are circles that are held next to each other. What he's talking about are concentric circles. Yeah, there is another bigger circle, he said. Don't be so wrapped up in this little circle that's one. Oh, well, no, there's another circle. There's many in it. There's actually a mega, massive mother of all circle. That are all other circles that you can think of in it. The most inclusive, the most comprehensive, the most expanded. That includes all of it. So don't fight. You're all in it. There's space for everyone in it. And it's an ever expanding, like the universe is ever expanding, right? So there is space for everyone. Like in a dreamer, if I am dreaming, you have to bring that up, right? If I'm sleeping, if I'm dreaming, there's the dreamer and there's the dream. And if you subtly study properly, or the ocean example, and we'll take that up also. When I'm sleeping and I have different abilities, different capacity. I have my ability and capacity to speak. I have my ability and capacity to sleep. I like that, and many other thousand I and you do as well. There is one unique ability or capacity I have to dream. You can call it energy, or capacity, or skill, or whatever it is, right? The power to dream, because of which, with which, you'd have to stay vigilant, alert a little bit about it, and then maybe process it later. There is the me, who's the dreamer. There is the 100 dream characters, the good and the bad and in between. And yet the dream characters are cropped up, are created with my creative energy. A single energy that is creating 1,000 dreams every time, new, fresh, small, right? Every night, different dream. It's a single energy ability to dream that's creating. My energy to speak is one, but I'm generating 1,000 words. I have my ability my speech is my ability, right? In this case, it's one ability to speak. I can speak Hindi, I can speak Marathi, I can speak English or Sanskrit, or a little bit of Gujarati, maybe a tiny bit of Punjabi, but it's, and within each maybe 1,000 words, 10,000 words, however. There's no telling. And even with that, what I will say, when the creativity, the creation, it's endless. Look around the universe. How many colors, how many forms, how many shades, and how many shapes, and all of that. That someone would fly, someone would swim, someone would run, crawl, go up in the air, go down in the earth. There's no end to it. Just like what I would say. So there is the speaker, there is the speaker's ability to speech, and there is the actual expression of that speech, the creation of it. There is the dreamer, there is the dreamer's ability to dream, and there are the dream characters and the drama that ensues in the dream. There is the ocean, there is the water across all of them. And I like it. It's kind of catchy. There is the
whistling.
Yeah. So there is the ocean. The ocean has its substance in between, the water, and there are the thousands of waves. Every one of them different. No two alike, and no two permanent, no two ever remaining. So there's three kinds. And so what he's saying is, like, we usually fight between. If that's how you want to think, there is another one. Whether are you the wave or are you the water? All the 10,000 waves, are those waves or are those water? You can fight all you want about it. I'm the wave, no, I'm not the wave, I'm the water. And he's saying, well, yeah, there is a bigger container still that has waves, if you want, think of yourself as waves, and that has all the water that all the waves are in also, the ocean. Am I the ability to dream, or am I the dream character? Well, the dream character and the ability, they are both in this container called the dreamer. And that's how he's saying that they're both in it. There is a bigger concentric circle that has, the Swami Vivekananda had described this very capably, that Atma is like a circle with its center everywhere. If you can imagine that. Imagine a circle whose center is everywhere. It's hard to comprehend, but yeah, that kind of gets to it, that it's such an ever expanding circle that everything is in it, and that's how it is. And we're just fighting over the shapes and the forms, or shapeless or forms. And so the practical application of this, I would leave it to you. Then that means that he's right here, right now, right? Whatever it is, present. That means that he's in you and me. Even you're the worst of you, still there, right? Witnessing, watching, waiting. Even when nothing is going my way, still with me. And if I believe, I'm a believer. if I understand what God means, and I believe that God exists, then if God is with me, then what am I crying over? What am I so upset about? Why am I getting so angry? Why be so frustrated? Why I want to teach someone some lesson? Right? Why any negativity, in other words? If the most positive force is with me, in me, and am me, is with me, in me, am me, then what's all this negativity about around? Why wouldn't I just be joyful? Why wouldn't I enjoy everything that comes my way? Why wouldn't I have this special vision to be able to see? And he says that in the 6th chapter that we've covered previously, that the yogi receives that vision, the ultimate blessing, the ultimate realization, the final vista, final achievement. They're receiving that vision. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatya samadarshana. Ikshat is being able to witness, seeing. That the filter on the eyesight is such that no matter what isn't able to see the equality there in it. And so that's the point of this. That's the third one that he was referring to. And now in conclusion, as we end this 18, Yasmad aksharam atitoham ksharad aksharadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vedecha pratitah purushottama. क्योंकि मैं नाशवान जड़ वर्ग क्षेत्र से तो सर्वथा अतीत हूँ और अविनाशी जीवात्मा से भी उत्तम हूँ, इसलिए लोक और वेद में भी पुरुषोत्तम नाम से प्रसिद्ध हूँ. Arjun, I am that outermost concentric circle. I am that circle that includes all of it, and hence those who know designate me, point to me as the greatest. And he's not chomping at the bit to say I'm the greatest. Me. I'm the best. No, he's not doing any of that. He's only, this is the 15th chapter. We're wrapping up now at the end of it. And that's because Arjuna is constantly begging him on his knees, praying, crying. Please help me see it, understand it, because I don't find a way around. He's also not turning on all the microphones and the amplifiers. He's still speaking to only that one. He's got 4 brothers behind him. They're all good as Arjuna. He's not even saying, well, just pull them. I want to make sure that all 5 of you, so whoever's asking, I'm just telling him that. Whoever wants to know. Because only that one who has the desire will show up. Period. And it is the desire alone that will fuel. Like that it is the desire that takes it. It's out there. Everyone knows. But only one who has the desire to prioritize will show up. Arjun showed up. And he's in no hurry. He's not about self-aggrandizing, oh, I am it. Whoever wants to know, because the truth is not going to change. Whether people know it or not, like it or not, believe it or not, understand it or not, truth is the truth. If it is the truth, then alone it is the truth. And so it's very, very secure in himself. God is, trust me, God is very secure. He's not getting anxious by the like, कब पता चलेगा लोगों को, कब पता चलेगा यार मेरे को मैं हूँ दूसरों की आरती गाते पेड़ उसके सामने रख दिए इधर लाना था ना मेरे भगवान को कोई चिंता नहीं है. उसने पहले ही 90वें चैप्टर में कह दिया कि वो किसी की भी पूजा करे, इतना big hearted, big minded, broad minded. It doesn't matter, he said. Worship whomever you like. Ultimately, it's all coming to me because I have empowered them all. They're going to bring to come experiencing that they're able to experience because I am in them. Ultimately, whatever we're experiencing, he is experiencing through us. The good and the bad and the ugly, all of it. You know? And so, therefore, those who know assign the greatest greatness to me, saying in this shlok that we just did. Ato asmi, I am therefore. Then and then the last 2 shloks. Yo mam eva asammudho janati purushottamam. This is number 19. Sasarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Hey Bharat, which is Arjun's name. Bha is our intuition, and Rat is immersed in it. The one who reflects, the one who immerses, like contemplates, and that's Bharat. Bharat is not just a name given to a country. The residents of that land used to more prioritize, really go within, go deep in. Comprehension was a favorite activity for them, like trying to understand, trying to decode the complex. is where they would spend a lot of their energy and time in it, those in Bharat. Not so much about collecting more food, which different colored clothes are bigger. They live very simply to this day, very simple living. Whatever, some mud thatched roof, it protects. I can live, whatever I can wear. But I want to spend more of my time and energy and attention and comprehension in understanding, because in the human form alone is that possible. This is where only I have the freedom and the faculty to understand. Everything else, all other forms are far superior to the human form. The dog and the cat and the fish and the tiger and the bird, far superior to human, incomparably greater than human form. You get everything, it's get for free. Good, number one, number two, go wherever, bathroom, whatever. People will die, fight to clean up after pick up your, right? Out of the pamper you, they'll pay the electric bills for your AC, if you're a dog. Just that. Everything is, arrangements are made. It's in the human form alone. But the greatness of this is that this form alone can actually think of whatever it wants to think and decode whatever it puts its faculty on. And therefore, Bharat used to be people, a special khanda, it was called Bharat Khanda, Ajanava Khanda, a special piece of land. Khanda means this is like something unique about this piece of land, they said. Whoever is born here, whoever, you have to do it up that intuitively, pre-programmed as if something, somehow, they're more interested in investing themselves in knowing than achieving, collecting, amassing. So that's Bharat. Arjun was like that also. And so he's saying, hey Bharat, जो ज्ञानी पुरुष मुझको इस प्रकार तत्व से पुरुषोत्तम जानता है, वह सर्वज्ञ पुरुष सब प्रकार से निरंतर मुझ वासुदेव परमेश्वर को ही भजता है. Yo, whoever. That's literally the Sanskrit word for whoever. Mam, eva, me alone. There's emphasis in alone. Your mom, eva. Asamudha, doubt-free, fully believing, fully trusting, and unquestionably, me alone, right? Whoever janati, knows me, believes in me, understands me to be Purushottamam, the best and the greatest, and all. The outermost circle, in other words, and the concept. Again, there's no competition here. Circles are not bumping against each other, fighting for space. These are not mutually exclusive. These are inclusive, right? A circle above, within, and then within or above, outside of it, in that way. So the overlap is 100%. Geometrically speaking, what is the difference between exclusive circles and inclusive circles? In exclusive, outside of each other, there's zero overlap. There's nothing common. In inclusive circle, concept itself, there's 100% overlap. This innermost circle, whatever it contains, the circle outside of it, it contains all of it. And so it's taking it with it, never without it. Right? Gita or scriptures or knowledge never teaches us to divide and conquer whatever. Always teaches to unite. It's a very unitive. It's unity consciousness, ekatva, not divisive. That you will never understand the secret by dividing, by trying to understand bits and pieces. It's through oneness alone in the end that we will. And the circle of outside it is inclusive of both of those circles. And in that way, well, I'm the outermost circle. What do you mean by that? What's outside of that circle? No, there is no circle. I'm just saying it for your understanding. It's everything that's outside, ever expanding, is me, saying, right? Claiming that. And so the one who understands me like that truly then knows me as the best Purusha Uttama. Sa sarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharat. That person, that woman, lady, man, never mind the shape and the size and the skin color or the religion or the caste or the financial, social, economic status. That person, it's claiming it's here really categorically said whomever, right? Your mom, Eva, that person truly knows the final truth. And really that worship is the real worship. worshipping me in that form is the real worship, not so much what did you use to make this modak or that laddu. That's good. That's a small circle. It's inclusive within it. Okay, you're worshipping me through modak and laddu and all that. There's more to it. Whoever knows me as the most, it's like actually truly fully worshipping me as I am. Right? So that was that shlok. Sarva bhavena bharat. Then that person cannot be without worship and is never sitting down, never looking at an image of God, never goes to the temple, is not necessarily doing yagya yag and doing mantra jap or anushthan or this, that, nothing. And yet never without worshiping that person for whom it's clipped in the head, because it's not in the doing, it's in the knowing, right? And there's a big abyss, a gap between the think and the do. The know or the knowing doing gap, right? It's called. And so it's in the knowing. Through doing we know. And so whatever we do should be with the intention to know. It has to be purposeful. This is all from the Gita. It's not concocted, made up. We've covered this ground before. 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, 5th chapter is where this all comes. That whatever we do should have a purpose behind it. I must question the purpose. I must ask, why am I doing what am I doing? And I should align with that purpose. I should make sure that the purpose is aligning with my pursuit. Like, is that what I wanted though? And then it becomes the most efficient. All that. And what should be the most glorious purpose pursuit is also taught in the Gita. All in the 700, the little box in 700 verses, right? If you carefully study it. And so it's about sarva bhavena bharat. That is essentially relieving of all rules and regulations at this point. It doesn't matter how you want to be, where you want to be, what you want to wear, where you want to go, what you want to eat, non-vegetarian, vegetarian, at that point. However, whatever. The glory of it is that you will not like violence once you realize that. Therefore, by nature, you will not want to kill animals just to eat and enjoy. That's a different matter. By choice, you will remain vegetarian. But the choice will be there. You will just not make that choice. Because it doesn't make sense if you're inclusive. That for this little circle, I should annihilate that little circle. and that's how I'm going to become this big circle by adding these two circles. No, you will become the biggest by realizing that you are in, with, and of that big circle, right? Each one of us. I know I'm drawing circles too, all one too many. The last one shlok then. Good news, guys. This is the last shlok. Number 20. And again, in this 12th chapter also there are 20. So iti goyyatamam shastram idam uttam maya naga etad buddha putyamastvam kritakritasya bharata he nishpap Arjun. Sinless Arjun. Nishpap is sinless. No? Intention uska kabhi nahi tha burai ka. Sin occurs in the mind. No? If the doctor is cutting someone and someone else is cutting someone, then are they both sinners? No. What was the intention? It is intentionality that generates sin. It's Arjun in his mind, there was never anything simple. Even as he's about to wage this war, he's hesitating because I want to make sure that this is not sinful. Literally says that, right? In the 1st chapter. Arjun Visha, I want to make sure that I'm not committing a sin, that I'm not doing something that is wrong, bad. And so Krishna is calling him out as that. You're nishpap, you're sinless. Hey nishpap Arjun, is prakar yah ati rahasya yukta gopaniya shastra mere dwara kaha gaya. It just came out of me saying, I did not mean to. I wasn't here to toot my own horn. It naturally emanated. Even Ved Vyasa wrote this, he said, Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmaga Nismrita. It just came out of it. It's like he just let it out, spilled the beans, sort of, right? Wasn't intending to, but it came out at the right time for the right audience, and hence only one it was spoken to. Perhaps there was only one that clean, that worthy of it. There was definitely only one who was begging for it, who had that great, deep desire for it. Yudhishthira knew there was Krishna. Bhim knew there was Krishna. They were also freaked out. and Sahadev and them all, and Bhishma Pitama, who resolved to kill all 5 of them, on the other side, have always claimed Krishna is God. They knew, but the desire wasn't there. That strong desire wasn't there. Everybody, all of us have heard Krishna's name. It's all a measure proportionate to the desire. Anything you achieve when you become a doctor, it will have become because you had the strong desire. You're sacrificing to feed that desire. And those who don't, those who drop out of college, also do that because their desire was something different. It wasn't this, right? Desire alone is the most powerful fuel. And so you must watch it, guard it, use it, harness it, wield it carefully, that fuel. We all have it, not waste it on meaningless stuff. But be watchful about it. And so he had this desire and he got it. इसको तत्व से जानकर मनुष्य ज्ञानवान और कृतार्थ हो जाता है. एतम इति गुह्यतमम शास्त्रम. This is the secret of secret, the deepest mystery. Where did this God come from? Who is this, right? Guhyatamam is the ultimate hidden secret. Shastra is science. This is technical. It's science is that which can be proven, right? Obviously, the first science that we cannot call any old thing science. That's one. Second is it has to be repeatable. Only then you can call it science. You can't say, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's science. It's not. Every single thing to work exactly predictable outcome. And this has a very, very predictable outcome also. And hence Shastra. And what's this Shastra? This is astrology, astronomy? No. Physics, biology, science? No, it's Yoga Shastra. It is the science of reconnecting, meaning it never fails. By following this every single time, whoever has followed this study of this science has succeeded in reconnecting with their original nature. Isliye, he is using himself the word Shastra. Krishna is in this. He's calling it Shastra. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanagha. Agha is pap, anagha is nishpap. My secret just came out. Mayanagha. Etad buddha buddhiman syam. Processing this with your own thinking of a buddha, buddhiman swam. Use your brain, your intelligence, and process this intelligently. Those who do that, he's saying. Those who don't just hear it, but process it, make it their own. It's all important. Okay. Those who make it their own, this knowledge. And if you cannot make the knowledge your own, then make the one who's speaking it your own. This, like, I think in yesterday's Hindi session, I brought this out, that there are 2 broadest level categories of reaching this state of mind. One is tattvik, the other is sattvik. In other words, one is through tattva, which means technical, principle, fundamental understanding, right? If you follow the principles, when you comprehend, then you don't, once you get it, your subject matter, right? When the bulb goes on, once it clicks, then you're stress-free anytime. You got it covered, even in the exam and all of that. You'll be able to deal with it. That's tattva, tattvik. And the other, if you cannot, then the other is sattvic, by just being purely good. Sattva is by protecting your goodness. On this path, I don't understand this knowledge, but I cannot, so therefore I cannot make this knowledge my own. This isn't my knowledge because I don't get it. But I made the one who's speaking this knowledge, the one whose knowledge it is, which means he's greater than. If I am the knower, this is my knowledge, then I am the holder of the knowledge. Never mind the knowledge, I made him my own. I have immersed myself in him, or like Krishna. And that's sattva. You can connect through sattva or tattva, through the sattvic path or the tattvic path, and they both will ultimately, that's the essence of the 12th chapter, by the way, Bhakti Yoga. That is also as short as this one. That Arjuna asked, I have heard all this time that the glorious are those who go through tattva, understand it, get it, great, and then like they're like an illumined and enlightened. I wonder how they are, aren't they the greatest? Are they, or those who just do this sattvic path? Those who worship the formless and say, oh, no, Bhagwan aisa nahi, vasa nahi ho sakta, or those who say, no, Bhagwan kya, ye Bhagwan hai. Sadhme like this, If I say this is God right here, this little Krishna Murti, Sanjeev that I had forgotten at your place, I'm pointing to. I'm claiming it right now. I'm telling you, this is God, the full God. So which one is greater? Arjuna asked. And he said, well, both reach me. Obviously, both are equal in that sense. But it's very, very hard to follow the path of tattva and knowledge and all of that. It's filled with dangers. Most people fall down at some point, and it becomes really hard for them to like fully get back up again. A lot of time is wasted. It's inefficient. It's difficult, and all that. But you can reach there. It's very torturous. He calls it long-winded, dry, and torturous. It's a very boring journey. You'd hate it. Is that? But you can reach there. This path, he says, clearly superior. So directly, he himself is saying, he can reach me there. Just enjoy the path, love it, love everyone, love everything. Don't shun anything. Don't shun it, not at all. Just go with it. Sagun sakarti. Anyway, so this is where this chapter ends, which is why he's pointing to himself at the end of this also, that I am that. Krita kritasya bharata. The last words of this chapter was that whatever has to be done or performed, for whatever reason we came here in this farm at this time in this land, there must have been some reason, right? So this is not an accident. This cannot be a very random act of who knows who. Then everything is meaningless. There's got to, I may not understand, but there's probably some purpose for my being here. Whatever I am to achieve, it says whoever has gotten this has that feeling of fulfillment. He's fulfilled that I know I have achieved everything that I came here to achieve. That alone, he said, Eva, will get you that sense of fulfillment. Otherwise, there will always be partial achievement. Always feel like something is left. I don't know if this is complete. I don't know if this is full. Maybe this isn't it. But through this path alone, you are experiencing my presence, God says, alone you will feel fulfilled. And hence Purushottam. Jai Shri Krishna. We'll do a few minutes of dhyan, and then we'll receive your reactions and wisdom. Yeah. Cool? Good? Okay. What? This has face ID, and I looked at this and said, not you, ugly face. Seriously, no. Did you program it? This is Madhu's phone. No. show me the pretty face. Like, who did that? Must be Kana. No. Okay, all right, we're starting dhyan again.